Hi, everybody. It's Peter here, back from a long hiatus. So, I just want to talk about yesterday. I saw season 5, episode 1 of Purse of Interest. It's finally back after its hiatus from season 4, which finished late last year. Actually, I can't even remember. It's been so long ago. It feels like they said, like it never happened. So, what I did was on Monday night, I watched the last episode of season 4. I had the DVD set. And just so I'm sort of mentally back up to speed again, remembered everything that happened. So I watched it, and my personal feeling was, and I was feeling this with season 4, that it's lacking the same chemistry and magic of like the first 3 seasons. Um, it's hard to put into words, but it has a. What I liked about Purse of Interest was the writing, the characters, little bits of humor here and there, um, and just the overall thing, like how the characters were. John didn't say much. He talked with his gun in his fist. Once in a while, had a good one line, that kind of thing. Finch was the brains of the operation. Most fans will know all this. What I was finding though, and even the way it was, is like season 4 ended with the 3 characters, Root, John, and Finch. Finch holding the machine in the ram case, and John and Root guns a blazing. And even I thought the end of that um, wasn't very good. And I thought that's not a typical ending of a season. Like season 1 ended with characters coming together, Carter and Fusco finding out they're actually working for Finch and the gang. Season 2, I have to think back. That had a good ending. Season 3 was, Greer plays his card and saying, "Oh, vigilance was just my idea to make the devil, so I can, have the government say, oh yes, we did have a threat, and because of Samaritan, they got rid of it." That kind of thing. So I mean, it all had a purpose. There was like layers between layers, and this I found there was like no layers, almost 1 to 2 dimensions of the story. I wasn't impressed at all, and I was wondering, like, one of the flashback scenes was Finch talking with Ingram about, oh, putting in the code for at midnight the machine will forget everything because it's getting too personal, and it's looking out for me. I don't want that. Well, we already established that back in at least probably because they always flash back a lot. At least season 2, season 3 for sure, because there was an episode of the machine had made a false persona, made a company, hired people to type all its code back in. So at midnight, after the midnight shutdown, the next day, we just retyping all the code again, so I wouldn't forget anything. And this was like, okay, why are we explaining this and shooting at a different angle? Why can't we just drum up one of the older flashbacks from previous seasons and just, for the people at home who have never seen Person of Interest, to get them up to speed? But most people are going to watch the show. This is season 5. They're going to be in the know, or they're going to know somebody this season. They can get them up to speed. And when Fusco was approached by internal affairs in the FBI, like what happened to Dominic and Elias? You were the last person at the scene. They got shot. Well, looks like it was shot by your gun. And then it comes back. The FBI said, "Oh no, maybe it was your gun, and we tested ballistics, and yes, you did a good job. You shot a major crime boss. Good on you. We're going to put a combination for you." The guy representing IA, Internal Affairs, he's like, "No, no, there's something about Fusco I don't like." So Samaritan sees this and takes him out. So it's almost like Samaritan has, doesn't like anything. It's actually even more powerful than season 4. Season 4 was pretty powerful. It's like, we can't go here. We have to find dead zones, so the cameras don't see us, that kind of thing. So we have to be very careful in what we're doing. As I called in one of the comments I made on Facebook at the Person of Interest site, what's up with the GQ hit squad of Samaritan? These guys are all suit and tie and very nicely done up, guns ablazing. But that's what I found. The whole episode was nothing but a big 1 hour shootout. If Root wasn't being shot at or grabbed by the cops, she stole the shotgun from the other guy. Next thing you know, she's been confronted. Then she goes see her Russian buddies. There's guns, 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 guns. Most of Personal Interest is not about guns. It's about intellect. It's about the machine and people being in need to help, that looked after. And there was none of that in this episode. It was just basically we have to set up the machine again, get things running, but it didn't feel like a typical episode. I know they have to get the machine back up and running. You know, they stole a whole bunch of PS4s, stringing them together. It was done. I forget how many years ago. There was a bunch of scientists said, what would happen if you strung a bunch of gaming consoles together and made like one big supercomputer? So because the gaming consoles, I think, have the ability of being strung together in series, parallel, or however you're going to wire it up, and they can act as one big CPU. You know, that seems feasible. They stole the van. They loaded up 300 machines, and you finally get to see how you another angle again of how you get into the secret lair through the candy machine. And here's the weird thing: it's parked. The secret entrance is in down a flight of stairs in Chinatown. So you go down the flight of stairs, you go down a little hallway. There's a snack machine. You go through the snack machine, go down another flight of stairs to get to the subway. So with 3 people and Samaritan watching them, how do they get the PlayStations from the van downstairs without being detected? And then when it was overheating at the dramatic, I'll say it's like Act 3, well, we got to heat, it's overheating. What are we going to do? The whole thing's going to blow up in our face. John gets the idea, I'm going to run out in the street. He doesn't say why, and just conveniently finds, some chemical truck that has, a dolly and 2 cylinders of nitrogen just sitting there. So he grabs the cart that down on the dolly, and that's John's a strong man, but I've handled propane tanks that are like 5 foot tall and they're this big. They're fairly heavy, and I was a young guy when I used to do that. So for him, to pick this up, bring it down a set of stairs, go through the secret entrance, go down another flight of stairs, in time to save the machine from blowing up and frying in their faces. And I thought, what? There was a lot of moments for me that was like, what? What are you doing? This is not person of interest. This felt like a new writer was hired for person of interest, and they said, okay, well, here's the synopsis, here's the writer's manual, here's the characters we'll be dealing with in a nutshell, here's the majority of things you need to know about person of interest, write a story. So it's not a seasoned writer, just write us a story. And they did, with the characters that we know, but not the characters, kind of thing. And also I thought was weird too, at the beginning episodes, John's running around with a suitcase full of the memory. At the end of season 4, Finch has the case, and he's with Root and John, and they're shooting their way through Samaritan's goons. Now, the beginning of episode 1, John is running by himself with the case. How did the guys get split up? Did they get past the firefight at the end of season 4 and said, okay, you go that way, you go that way, I'll go this way. Oh, Finch, give me the case because it's better with me than, like, they don't explain how that's got split up. It's all of a sudden they're apart. The one thing I found when you watch Person of Interest is there are no gaps. There are explanations, or there's a flashback to explain why are the characters acting like today. What is their motivation, or what made them what they are, what you're seeing today. So let's flash back. You do the time clock. Okay, this is why Finch is like this, or this is why Fusco is like this. This is why Root is like this. So and the continuity. That's what I loved about it. They do a flashback. The continuity was always spot on in the show. And this, I will probably watch the rest of the season. I may down the road buy the DVD for my collection. If anybody's watching this, like and subscribe to my channel. And see any comments, be appreciated of what you thought of this episode. And again, that's it for me, and Peter out.